How would you like to make your first million? And today we have Jamie Sylvian from us, and he's actually from United Kingdom, but he travels all over the world, and he's the founder of Executive Nomad, which is an amazing concept that I just discovered. So, Jamie, tell us, what are the 5 steps you recommend entrepreneurs in order to make the first million?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
I think the very first thing, Harry, and I learned this when I was very young. Thank you for having me, by the way. It's a pleasure to be on the show. The first thing I learned is that it's too hard to do it on your own. You have to have people around you because if you end up wearing all the hats, I appreciate you have to do that at first, but if you end up wearing all the hats, it's exhausting and you get burnt out. And you're going to come, especially in the early days of any business, you're going to come up with so many challenges, so many problems, so many bottlenecks. If you're on your own, then you're fighting those battles on your own. If you're with a team, you've got some people, even if it's just one person, a partner, Harry, at least you've got somebody to bounce those ideas off, and get a different perspective on things, because everybody has a different perspective, right?
And then Jamie, that would be the step number one, have the people around. So after that, what are the 2, 3, 4, and 5?
Got you. For me, it was always very important to establish a base of credibility. So in my younger days, I got into business with the British royal family. I got into business. I think I was one of the youngest people who was a member of the Institute of Directors. This is a long time ago, obviously. But
I love it there, the Institute Director. I hang around there a
it's
lot. It's
fun.
amazing.
Yeah, it's fun. And I used to go to all their shows. Harry, I had my hair was in a ponytail when I was going to there, but that gave me credibility. So money was tight, business was tight, but I used to hold my meetings in the Institute of Directors because it gave me credibility. I had to fight the battle of being way younger than my clients, but bringing them to lunch at the Institute of Directors, that stepped above it. So credibility is really important, and also networking, because there's always somebody willing to lend a hand. There's always somebody who's got better experience than you. It's very much a part of what Executive Nomad, my brand now, it's built on that. That's really important, and equally important is keep your costs down. There's always a reason to go and buy a new car, to move house, all that stuff. Spend your money on your business to a point where you'll know that you've got 6 months, 8 months, 12 months of cash flow to go. Because otherwise you can get into a cash crunch, and that can tear your business out from under you. I've been there. I was there when I was bankrupted when I was 21, and I thought I had loads of money until I just didn't, until the economy changed. But hey, you're at that point, at that age, you just think it's going to last forever, right? You learn these things. You definitely
Wow, and
learn
a
these
great,
things.
great age to learn this when you're young, right?
I've had
Yeah.
lots of lessons since, Harry, but that was
No,
a
but
lesson
this
back
is
in
a good
London.
one at a very early age.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what I was thinking, that it was a good lesson when I was that age going through it, but I take your point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no. So is that five? I think that's five.
Yeah. Okay, so Jamie, let's talk about your story. You shared with me before the broadcast that you co-founded one of the most spectacular companies in United
Yeah.
Kingdom in your early age. Can you tell us a little bit about that story, and how from that story the executive had born?
Yeah, it was actually they were parallel at one time. So let me just give you the first story. Is one, the company called Uswitch in the UK now was actually started as a company called Syra back in the very late days in 1997, when the gas
Oh, wow, 1997. Wow.
that's when the company was formed. It was we ran it in Harrow, and I was the second guy in because I had experience from my previous work of running sales teams. So I actually, again, going back to the credibility, I realized that there was a very much an opening when the gas and electricity deregulated. It was basically a free for all. It was like the Wild West, Harry. But I realized that to get in with the big guys, British Gas, London Electricity, Manchester Electricity, I think it was called in the time. You needed credibility. Nobody was going to open the door to me. So I partnered with a member of the royal family, the British royal family, who became the chairman of the company. I was the co-founder of the company. It was called Syra at the time. And we built up a team of door knockers, guys who literally went out, knocked on doors and sold these contracts. And we had over 500 guys. And that company turned into USwitch as the market moved and as automation came into it, and as the number of people actually physically knocking on doors, that was causing problems just because of the nature of that business, mis-selling and all that sort of stuff. We started to move it into an online business that became uswitch.com, and that sold for £210 million in June 2006. So I was
So,
part of
and
that.
then,
But sorry, go on.
yeah, go ahead. And then, how this concept, executive nomad, has got that. I actually one of them. Yeah, I travel a lot.
Yeah, good, good. At the time of, as we were putting usage together, I was actually spending an awful lot of time in Spain. I learned about the concept of executive nomad in 1992 when I was very, very young. I was actually
Oh
down in
wow!
X.
It was not even
Yeah,
COVID or anything like this.
there was no COVID.
No
To be fair,
online.
there wasn't any internet then either. It was still two
Oh,
years
wow.
before the real
That's
internet.
gonna be hard to be an executive nomad with no internet.
Well, it was all done with fax machines, but but it was obviously it's much easier now. It's an absolute piece of cake now. But back then, I read down in Exeter in the UK, and I picked up a physical paper newsletter from an honest that I was sitting in waiting for a meeting, and there was a guy in it or an advert for a guy called W.G. Hill who had a concept called perpetual traveler. You can get the connection between digital nomad and so on. And I ended up buying all the books. I still own those books. They're in my other office here. And they are completely useless now. They were £110 then. So that was quite pricey each. They're leather bound. They're a whole story of how to run a business while traveling, how to open a company in one country, physically live in another country, have your clients in another country. And it was all about structure for global travel. And that was the precursor. Now, it was so hard with fax machines, with even mobile phones were there, but they were that big, right? So it was tough, but the always appealed to me. So when I started to build out use, by the time I started to build out use, which I was living a lot in Spain and coming back and forward to offices in Victoria, in London, and in Harrow. So I was becoming that nomad. I was an executive. I was one of the joint founders, the co-founders of the business, but I wanted the freedom. I didn't like the structure of a corporation. I hated the board meetings. I hated that stuff. I used to roll up my sleeves, and I just wanted to be with the sales guys, get them out there, get them making money, and that was it. So very much the definitions of becoming an executive nomad were
Well, I love it, the concept, and I relate a lot because I'm same like you, right? I hate the board meetings, and
yeah.
I like to go to the same place every day. I
Oh
cannot
yeah,
have
yeah,
this.
absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
affect my way. Like for example, with I spend like usually 2 3 months in Spain, and I think that if you can get the best of each world, it's amazing. Look what happened to me, Jamie. Every time that I travel, then I change the environment. New ideas come, and the
Yeah,
ideas that and the problem that they are unsolved, they get solved in different environments. Don't
yeah,
ask me what, I'm freezing in UK and I have this problem with the business and this one. I take a plane, I go to Dubai, I go to the pool. After day two, I'm in the pool. I'm like, oh, how we
absolutely.
solve this?
Really
Did that happen
important.
to you? Did that happen to
Yeah,
you?
all the time. I've just spent the winter in Malta.
Oh,
And the whole concept of executive nomad, Harry, is that a half an hour after I land in Malta, as the example, I'm in business. My laptop is. I
absolutely.
bring my things with me and it takes me
Absolutely.
30 minutes to be up and
However, the
running in
weather
this.
is good, so you think that you're on holiday. It changes your mood because
Exactly.
we've been there. In UK, I love it. I love London. Yeah, actually, when I'm traveling, I put the series from UK to see the thing. I love it over there. We all love it. But oh
Yeah.
my God, when it's in the winter and it's the morning and the sky is gray and it's
Yep.
raining, this kind of rain, you prefer to sleep. Yeah. It me until 11 a.m. to get out of bed in London some days because it's cold, the sky is gray. It's so amazing to stay in bed. Whether when you go to a different location, it's like 8 a.m. The sunshine is out there. You have blue sky, and you're with your computer. I'm like, oh my god, I'm on holiday here.
Yeah. And your
I
problems
don't
feel
even
much
feel I'm
smaller
working.
when the sun shines.
Yeah. So it changed my. I become more productive, especially us entrepreneurs. We have big problem to solve. We don't. I always said, what's the problem? That if we solve this problem, we solve all the problems, and we always battling with that one.
Yeah.
And the mental health and the framework and places you go is actually help. It's helping me a lot. Me and
Yeah,
also my
absolutely. Yeah,
business partner.
absolutely.
So on the other hand, Jamie, like for example, me, I travel a lot to Spain also, right? Who doesn't like cheap food and amazing, right? So it's like
Yeah.
you go to places and it's more expensive and
Yeah.
worse, whether in
And there's
Spain, I don't know.
something else as well. The beauty of that is that when I was doing pure consulting, I was a communications consultant, and my office was in London. My phone number, we spoke about it earlier, +44 in London, but that's a virtual office. I've never been to the actual office, and I've had that address in London for 12 years or maybe more, 13 years.
Oh
And
wow.
so I never go there. I had one in very back in the early days. I had one in Cork Street in London, and I had to go up the stairs to collect my letters, physically collect my letters. And people wanted to call me. There was a lady in that office, and she'd pick up the phone and answer for me. And then obviously you don't need to do that anymore. So my virtual office now is in City Road in London. And the reason you do that, the reason I do that, Harry, is because I charge London prices for my services. The fact that I would be living at the time in
Absolutely.
in in Bangkok or in
Absolutely.
Chiang Mai or in Bulgaria, I was still
Hmm.
earning. It changes so much. You need so much more money to live, work, be in London than you
Oh, tell
do
me about
when
it.
if you
100%.
travel. You go to Thailand. All of a sudden, there's it's £50 that you would spend in about a minute in London is actually 3 days worth of eating out in restaurants. In
Yeah.
Bangkok or
Qatar now you can stay for 29 and you mind four-star hotel. We
yeah,
know, we
indeed.
know, we move around a lot. So, Jamie, the also want to touch base in that is important to share with the entrepreneurs because you're talking about structure, and I discovered this kind of by accident. My first business was in property there in London 18 years ago. We were doing rent to rent, where we were renting the houses and then renting the units separate.
Yeah.
In London, UK, we call it rent to rent, and I was doing this way before Airbnb and everything. So bottom line,
Well,
the operation grew. We managed to sell over 5 million, and the manager one day she sent me home. She told me, Harry, we don't need you here. Go go home, travel the world. But before that we can grow this company without you, which was something amazing that happened to me kind of by accident. But my team all were better than me, and the whole business was structured in a way. But I noticed before my Eva told me this. I noticed that when I go traveling for 3 weeks and I'm coming back, the business most of the time was doing even better than when I'm around. So it was very strange, and I'm thinking, why? And what happened is like I encourage the leadership in the organization. Basically, I encourage the leadership. Remember, my biggest nightmare was that they're gonna go out for a drink and don't bring me with them, right? I couldn't
yeah.
having that thought. And then when at the beginning of the business, when I say I'm the big boss, everybody had to do what I say. They were kind of behaving like this, and so I'll change the way I conduct the business, and I'll made them into leaders. I give them the first thing. I remember what I did. I told them, okay, when you have a problem, propose the solution. You pick the solution. We try it. If it works, for if it doesn't, I'm good with this. So all of the sudden, the whole dynamic in change, and I think that when I was away, the whole team was saying, "Let's prove Harry that we can do better without him." Right?
Yep.
That's and they effort, collected effort, It was kind of a strange until the point that my general manager told me, "Don't come here anymore. You don't have clearly you have nothing to do. You're talking to everyone. We are trying to grow a company here. Stay at home, and I will come once to give you a report." So, but then remember, Jamie, we only have one problem. It was huge, which is more single rooms, right? And that's the only problem that Eva comes every to tell me that we need more single rooms. And I remember the debate with her and said, Eva, of course you need more single room because you see all the houses, not in London, all over the world, it have two double rooms, one living room and one single room. So the single room is a limitation, and on top of that, it's cheapest. So of course you need more single rooms. But what do you want me to do? And then Eva, every month we need more single rooms. We have a huge demand for single rooms. Jamie and I went for the travel and thinking about that problem, that we solve all the problems. And it was abroad. No, it was in Dubai. I don't know where it was. I think it was Spain, where I had the brilliant idea to say, okay, what if the largest room we have, that we couldn't rent it for that much because, in London, people couldn't pay 600, 650 for the fee. And we have huge rooms. So what if we didn't need two? And that would give a perfectly two size single rooms. And then I called my Polish guy, Mataman, my bidder, and said, listen, can you doing so amazing that they cannot even listen one to another one and make it really, really good? Say, yes, Harry, we put insulator, we put sound, we put everything. Forget it. They want to another one, it's gonna be perfect. So that idea, Jamie, gave me 2 million in sales.
And that's so that was holiday.
I don't think, but I don't think that if I stay in London, we come with the solution, because I've been doing the business for 4 years, or a long time inside there. And the problem always was there, and I'm stuck in that environment. So
I have a thing, Harry, just on that. I have a thing that I call it Remarkable Wednesday. And it's every Wednesday. I do no meetings online. I take no phone calls. I do no emails. I don't touch the kit. It's called Remarkable Wednesday because if I show you this is a gadget called a Remarkable. It's basically a very expensive notepad. But what it does is that on the Wednesday, so while I'm here, I'll go into the hills and just walk around in the forest for a few hours in the morning. That's the only thing I have. That's when ideas come to me. I did the same in Malta when I was just there. I have my Wednesday has sacred for 20 years. It's very rare for me to do Wednesday. Of course, sometimes you have to, but very rare. It's because you're outside of the usual, as you were saying when you were in London, it's just things are coming at you all the time. Or you have a rule to step aside and just give your brain, you're not a reason, you have a fast brain. If you do that, then that's really important. It's not going to work for everybody, of course, but it's where I come up with the Executive Nomad model. I was actually in Greece, in Neos Marmaras in Greece, when I came up with the idea of creating the Executive Nomad brand. So yeah, it's exactly that.
And Jamie, maybe it's not only you and I. It's a lot of from this podcast, we want entrepreneurs to be healthy, wealthy, and happy. Yeah. And I interviewed one here from New Zealand. Again, he becomes a multimillionaire, 19 years old. And what he did, he bought a huge house in New Zealand by the mountain and a big car, very young. And he remember he's sitting here looking at all this and was thinking to himself, it was this, like I worked hard. This is it. This is what I really want. After 3 months, he take a bad decision. He lost everything, ended up go to bankrupt, and end up in the coach of his mom. And then he has a personal journey, right? And today, guess what happened? He run his business in a yacht. He owns a big yacht, and he run his business in a yacht, and he travels all over the world. And when he gets tired, he parked the yacht, and then he hired a very expensive caravan. He told me, he buys an expensive caravan. Then he travels all over Europe in that caravan, running the business with a laptop. And when he gets tired of the caravan, he jumps into the yacht again. And that's what makes him happy. That's that's how he operates. He self-sabotage himself when he saw that this big mansion and this big car and this view probably is the stereotype that, okay, well, if you are successful, this is what you need to have. But he was successful, and that thing didn't mean anything. He didn't want to live his life inside that place and running this
Yeah.
business like this. So
Yeah.
he says so that just that's right. But it's a great story. He shared in this very same podcast.
It's
What do you
true.
think
It's true,
about
Harry.
what do
Yeah,
you
it's
think
true.
about this, Jamie? What is your point of view? Because on the other hand, we have those entrepreneurs that they are in the same place and they are stuck. Then you go to the companies and there is a lot of toxic environment. Then you see that the culture is a number culture. If this month you don't perform, you don't achieve the number, you're out. And then you see people don't have time to speak with the family, the wife,
Yeah.
and things are working, but it's a lot of resistance there,
Yeah.
and everybody's worried about, very concerned about the money, how much money we have, and to meet the metrics. But it's a huge that they miss of the mental health that
Yeah.
it have a key point in performance and in
Yeah.
productivity, right? Not because you are in front of the computer the whole day, that means that you're productive, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's not true. I can tell you that I went through I needed all the toys, as a young man. I had the Rolex watch. I had, I had the cars. I had all of that stuff. And it was all crazy important to me. And then it wasn't. It just at a point where I thought none of that matters. I haven't owned a car 15 years
Wow,
because
neither do I. Neither do I.
really, really,
Oh yeah,
because
I
well,
walk in
especially in
London
London,
everywhere. Yeah, it makes me
especially in
calm.
London.
When I walk, I love it. Yeah, even to
Yeah,
take the bus on the second floor, it's like an amazing tour. It relaxes me a lot, keeps my
yeah,
mind.
yeah,
Uh, you won't have that view car,
yeah.
and who
There's
wants
no
headache?
point.
To have a
Yeah,
car in London is a headache. So who want more
yeah.
headache in your life?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But even traveling, as I said, I went over to Malta, and I was, I've organized my trip before I go, and I know that I can get wherever I wanted to be on Malta. It's a very crowded island. It's a small island. The traffic is as bad as London for sure. There's no point in hiring a car because I've got an app with the Uber equivalent is Bolt out there, and it's cheap. It gets me where I want to go. I prefer to walk if I can because I just like to see life and energy and stuff like that. It's a personal thing. You reach a point. We were talking about the Institute of Directors before we got on the call, and when I used to go there with my business partner, we used to have competitions to see who had the flashiest Rolex and all of that. We were kids, we were, and that meant a lot to us, and we were sort of, you had that competition. But ultimately, I not everybody does, of course. Got to the point where I just thought what I really liked doing was just traveling light, going to visit somewhere, and I went to Chiang Mai for a month. I stayed for 2 years. That's to me is
Wow.
is is freedom. I rent a house. I didn't rent a car because you get the tuk-tuks. It was so easy to get around. But to me, that's success. For my level, that's success. Not the watch, not the car, not the house. It was that I was in a place I
Absolutely,
loved.
the freedom.
Yeah, yeah,
Have to
the
have that
freedom.
freedom. That's priceless. Yeah, we talk about this concept a lot here, Jim, in the podcast. Rather than a millionaire who has millions in the bank account, what if you have a millionaire lifestyle? And,
Yeah,
and, and you don't need to have a million in your bank account to feel like a millionaire and to have a lifestyle. I have a lot of people, Jamie, call me almost every day. Harry, let's do this business. We're gonna make millions. And I always tell them, hold on, what is gonna take?
yeah,
What is it gonna take? Because I need my time to play tennis. I need my days. Jamie off are Mondays. I don't work on Monday. Don't do anything on Monday
right,
unless there's something that I enjoy. I discovered that Mondays are less busy. Right? No, outside. If you go to a restaurant, it's empty and everybody treats you really nice. If you
yeah,
go to a theater,
yeah,
there is not so many people. And then, I think if I had to work Saturday in the evening or whatever, it's good because out there is crazy.
yeah,
And who wants to I don't know, to go out when it's crazy, when everybody's out and things like that. So we can, that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur is that we can, with creativity, you can design your life. So, Jamie, can you please describe to entrepreneurs or executives listening to us what is possible and what is an executive nomad really mean, and if it's really possible? Because I think that people are looking at you, or maybe looking at me. My workshop is in Singapore, Dubai, Mexico, Peru, United Kingdom, United States, and every time that I had to do a workshop in Singapore, I go 1 month before and 1 month after, with
Right,
the
right,
excuse,
right.
okay, I had to go before because I need to see the stage, I need to see the place. And then after, of course, you need to stay a month because you know what is the people you meet at the event. You have business
Yeah,
anyway. Every time that we launch in the country to the workshop, we take 2 month holiday. Holiday work, right?
yeah,
And I
absolutely.
love it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I love it. So, what message do you have for executives there that they are stuck, that they're not happy, that they just go to the office because they have to, not because they want to? What's the message
Yeah.
you have for them?
It became very clear to me. I was in Greece a few years ago. I've been an executive nomad for 3 decades, but I didn't even know what that meant. I just did what I did. I created my lifestyle, and I was on a call in a little town in Greece, sitting in the sun on my phone as a phone call meeting. And I was working with a private equity company who were in Canada, and we were putting together, and I was working on the communication side for it, a deal which was worth $90 million for the client. It was an acquisition deal. I was used to doing that. I was used to being in that, in the communications at that side. So I was sitting in the cafe, and there was behind me, Harry, and I didn't realize he was a British guy. I finished my call. I was sitting there with my notepad, making all the. He said to me, "You look busy." And yeah, I've been working on a deal. You live here in this place in Neo Mamaras in Greece. I said, no, I'm here for a couple of months. I like the idea of a port town. I just kind of like the vibe. Turns out he'd been made redundant. He was a logistics expert. He was 54, and he got good money when he left. A company, a competitor bought his company. They brought their own CEO team in. He's got no job. Nice payoff, but he was 54 and he had no idea what to do next, because once that you reach a certain age and a certain part of your career, upper management, it becomes hard to put yourself out there and get the same relevance, the same job, the same salary, and so on. So he was a little bit uncoupled. So we started talking, and by the time we'd done a bottle of wine each, just as a preamp there, we'd worked out how to rewire his career. So we got talking. And I said, "Well, what did you do in your career?" Because he was just thinking, maybe I'll get another job. I don't want another job. I want to sit in a Greece and do." We worked out, and I worked out over the next few days. If you rewire, you don't have to start again your business. You don't have to start a new career when you leave. You can go into your career history and work out and extract wins, losses, and lessons. And these are things that you did as part of your job that you may not have realized were in and of themselves were really valuable. So this guy, giving the example for him, when the merger was done, his job to go through all of the contracts from both companies and see overlaps and see if there was discrepancies in the contracts, because they would obviously have the same suppliers for a lot of things. He saved that company $2 million by knowing how to do it. I said to him, "What did you get paid?" He said, "My salary, which is 10, 12,000 pound a month, whatever it was. So decent pay." And I said, "But you just saved them 2 million bucks." He said, "Well, that was part of the job." So we spoke a bit more, and we worked out how to pull that out. And that's where you rewire. He rewired his thinking on what he did and just put it into a little box in his mind and said, "That's what I can do. I can be the freight oversight guy that works specifically with companies who are going through mergers and acquisitions." That's a consulting service. That's a coaching service. That's a mentoring service. So the
Absolutely.
next thing I said was, now you need to do is you need to repackage that and give it a name, because otherwise you're just a consultant. But now, so we gave it a name. He became the freight site guy, and his specialism was post acquisition oversight. He's got a business. And then the third section, I said, well, but you need to be able to do that globally. You need to be able to do that offer in this environment that you and I are in now, Harry. So that way you can do it in Greece if you want, or in London if you want, or in Dubai if you want, wherever you are. So the third thing was to repurpose it. And I said to him, you'll have seen this, Harry, I'm sure, in your career. Even though he was in the logistics space, that problem or that he overcame happens in the hospitality, happens in real estate, happens in the medical space. It's just got a different flavor to it. So the bit is where you take them off the freight site guy, that the bit where he sold into the logistics world, and he re it for the medical world. It was for private hospitals because they were going through a lot of acquisitions, roll-ups at the time. So his service doesn't change, but he presents it changed. That gives him the opportunity to go global because there are hundreds and hundreds of freight and logistics and warehousing companies buying and selling each other all the time. He's now got a consulting service that he offers out. He only does it in this environment online. He doesn't go and see the client, and he never charges a day rate, because if you have a day rate, you logically have to go in every day to get paid the day rate. He charges a fee for doing the job, which means if he does it in a week, it's great money. If he does it in 2 weeks, it's half the money. If he does it in a month, it's even half of that, the value. Whereas if he gets it done quickly, and you can use AI to help you do these projects so much quicker now, he gets paid. So he's in complete charge of the clients that he works with. He's got flexibility, he travels the world. He's got a business. He's an executive nomad.
Absolutely. And again, I love how you said that it's not only to being a consultant, that by the way, that the content we give you, we pay you way more as an employee just by this word consultant. But if about that, you package exactly, Jamie, what you described. Now you are a high level consultant.
And also a coach. You can go in and say to them, team, I can teach your people not to make the mistakes that I've seen in this place. People will pay to not screw up. They don't just pay for success stories. That's why I always say wins, losses, and lessons. What were the losses that you're involved in? What deal were you involved in that there were £5 million or dollars in the hole? And what would you have done differently? Because I'd pay you to make me not lose that £5 million, right?
Yeah. And then, Jamie, I've been in both sides because you see, and this is what happened. I remember that this freedom because of my business and everything. And then I was feeling a little bit uncomfortable that I had so much freedom, making so much money, doing anything. And then again, I sabotage myself. I go to Brick Lane and I opened a restaurant, Harry Spanish Tapas, and I lost 200,000 pounds and 2 years of my life, right? And in mine, it was to a point that I was with money to come, and I'm inside the house, and I travel already. I'm traveling again, and then I come in London, and then I don't know out of what this comes to me like, Harry, you should be working, you should be doing something else. This is not good. All you do is traveling, or you do this, doing very little work and things like that. And I have to do something. And then only Harry Spanish Tapas. I didn't even have any clue about restaurant. Clearly, if you have a Spanish restaurant, you call it Lola or Pepe. You don't put your name Harry Spanish Tapas. So even from the name was a disaster. Luckily, it was a pub right behind there in Brick Lane. And of course, when the lads are drinking there, they go hungry. The Spanish patatas bravas and the alioli, you see there. So my only income was when the pub closed. They're hungry. So I had the restaurant open the whole day, and then at the time that you want to leave is when everybody comes.
That's when they're coming.
But bottom line, Jamie, it was 2 years of my life working there Monday to Sunday, try to make something work that actually I put it a first halal Spanish tapas in Brick Lake, the community there, the Bengali. So it's a Spanish tapa with no pork, with no alcohol. It was very innovative. The council was very happy with me. A lot of press releases. Everybody was so happy. But at the end of the day, it was very expensive to educate that. That was the first one. Now if you go to Brick Lane, Jamie, like 50% of the restaurants have alternative food. I think they're wait for me to educate everybody for free.
They need somebody.
After I left,
they need somebody to make the journey.
Yeah, then after I left, they say, okay, fine, now everybody got it. That could be an alternative food in Brick Lane, as long as there's halal or whatever. And then Because what happened, Jamie, I noticed everybody there in that road have more than 30 years of experience in restaurants.
Well,
And I didn't have any clue what I was doing. I just want to do something. I was
yeah,
literally, but that, after I had this failure, I lost money. I lost the girlfriend back at the time, and I lost 2 years of my life being in the business every single day.
it's a
And
tough business. Yeah.
I didn't even know, Jamie, what I want, clarity, why, what I didn't want anymore for my life.
That's good too. Yeah. Yeah.
One of the things was this one. Cannot have any business or anything that I can be Monday to Sunday in a place.
Yep.
It killed me. That's
Yeah.
why it didn't work. It can't work because my head, I couldn't on that environment with that thing. I don't operate like that, so I couldn't produce, and probably
Yeah.
this is one of the main reasons why I failed. But anyway, apart that it was too early. So I sometimes, Jamie, the worst day in of your life become the best day of your life. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um. So, do you have any experience, or so when do you decide that okay, I'm running this business. This business not running me. If not this podcast, have three businesses selling $1 million in each, and the guy was vomiting blood. And he told me, Harry, I'm running this business not running me. And he went for Thailand for a year. Now everything is fine. His business is around, and he's happy and healthy.
Yeah.
So, tell us, in your experience, sometimes the worst day of your life can become a best day of your life. That's what I'm saying. You saying that you went to bankrupt with 21 years old, and I'm thinking, wow, how lucky is he that he has this experience so early. No way for me, like I was, I think, 32 years old, and and I had biggest slap on the face,
Yeah. Yeah.
or way too old. I think it's a luxury to have this, because you learn a lot out of experience, right?
Yeah, but I also think I think you never stop learning, right? I learned very early. As I said, 21. I had an art business in London, and it was going fabulously well. I picked the wrong partner. No, just mistakes you make as a young guy, and the
Normal
wrong partner,
stuff.
and all of
This is
all
part
all
of
of a
the
sudden the money
journey.
went there, right? It's part of the journey. And I did the weirdest thing, Harry, is that of all of that, I really enjoyed it when I actually got to the bankruptcy hearing and I had to defend myself. I really, really enjoyed that bit because I knew I was in the right. I knew it wasn't me that had made the company go wrong, but I'd never been. It was a scary situation. The people were coming to the bankruptcy meeting because I owed them money, or my company owed the money. And but when I found myself in a place that was actually very good, I had strategy mind, a strategic mind. I didn't even know I had a strategic mind. I was 21. But whereas the questions were being fired at me by these people owed all this money, it was something like it was £258,000 I owed then. In today's money, 2 million, something like that. So not huge, but huge if I couldn't find it under the bed for them. But I realized I was very good at strategy, and I realized that that's where my brain was strong. And so after that, as I started to sort of develop my business, strategy has always been my thing. And I worked in communications because I enjoy that process. But it's all about the strategy, and that's what formed the Executive Nomad. It forms the strategy. So I'm building the brand from being just Jamie. I don't like it to be just the Jamie show. I don't think that's very clever at all. So ultimately, I'll have lots of executive nomads doing what I'm doing, working online with consultants and so on. So I'm building out that brand. That's all about strategy. But I learned that back in when I was 21 years of age. Not good at is running a corporate business and go to the same place every day, just like your restaurant. What you are good at is just being the thinking
100%.
part of a business. Yeah. And so know strength, know what you're good at. When you're not good at it, get somebody else to do it, or don't get involved at all. And it's not a failure to fail. It's just learning stuff. That
And
was just my first story. There's loads of more.
yeah,
I've done a lot. So
and Jamie, that's the other part of this. When people have their startup or they have their first business, um, you have to deal with a lot of rejection, product market fit to make your first million. Right at the beginning, nobody knows you, so the client want to pay you less money, and then the supplier want to charge you more, and everybody's trying, and then you're wearing all the hats. So a lot of negative emotions get stored in your unconscious mind. That even when you're successful, and you already made it, if you don't analyze emotions, they can become physical pain. People end up with cancer. People end up with heart attack. But for me, I think that was my restaurant thing. It was that I made, I was happy because I was out of the business working out of pilot, and was actually growing very good. But because I had these negative emotions, and I couldn't find a space, like you said, on Wednesday to walk and to release all
Yeah.
that. Or I didn't know that. I didn't know that I had to take care of myself. I didn't know that I have to.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I never have a day off. So the this negative emotion, I didn't know that this had to be released, and maybe
Yeah.
because I have that, I opened the restaurant, which I don't regret, by the way, because back then I regretted a lot, yeah? And
Yes.
but now people are asking me, no, Harry, I want to study master in business administration, pay 30,000 pounds, 40,000 pounds, 80,000 pounds. I'm always telling, look, if you really want a master in business administration, open a restaurant break like you will see how quickly you're gonna learn about business
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's tough. So
It is a tough game. Yeah.
so Jamie, when you learn that those Wednesdays you really need it for yourself, and
Well, I've been doing
knew
it
that,
20 years.
yeah, but how you discovered it? Did you read the
Probably,
book?
but
Somebody told you, or
no,
trial and error like me? Because my life is a
knowing me
trial
by
and error.
accident.
By
Knowing
accident,
me,
yeah.
knowing me, I just had how did that happen? Oh, I haven't been in front of my computer. I haven't the phone. I haven't. I think you just need that time, and many things just happen by accident, right? Or maybe maybe I just chatted to somebody years ago who told me that he did it. I thought I like that idea. So yeah, it's just such an important part of my wife says to me is oh, it's Wednesday. Where are you off to today? Even when I'm traveling and she's not, when I was just in Malta and Wednesday, she doesn't call me. In the morning, she'll send me a message to say, I'll talk to you tomorrow. That's it. It's just a rule. But yeah, I don't know, actually became a rule, a life rule, but it did.
So in love with this conversation, how people can find you, how this process work. Can you please share
Great.
this?
So yeah, I have a website, executivenomad.com. They can go along and get a free audio coaching course. It's absolutely free. Just go along and use it. Subscribe to it. It's me teaching people how to rewire, repackage, repurpose. I've built some AI that will help them to do it. I used to charge £190 to sit down in an environment like this with somebody and help them to get clarity. AI can do that in 5 seconds now. It takes about 3 minutes to do the whole thing, and it gives people clarity. So I built that out based on my career experience. They can use that. But yeah, drop by executivenomad.com, say hello, get to know me, and if it's a fit, you'll know. If it's not, you'll know.
Very good, Jamie. Thank you so much for the broadcast, and for all of you following the Unstoppable podcast. See you in our next episode of Unstoppable. How brave entrepreneurs like Jamie break the wall and achieve the first million. Bye for now.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.